Obviously, extremely disappointed to not have pulled it off last night, like I said, after the game. But after looking at the tape and going through it with the guys, almost impossible to not acknowledge the growth and the good stuff that we saw in a lot of guys and a lot of things that we did. And we really do hone in on that because that good stuff is worth celebrating for our group and making sure we acknowledge, because if you can't give that feedback back to the guys in the world we live in right now and all information they get, then what good is it at all as you move forward and you really plant the seed to doing something right. So we did some really good stuff. We went back to the tape. It was obviously quite a few days ago now. We've already moved on in the coaching life. I think you turn that over in 24 hours or less, and then you move on. So I thought they did a good job, real resilient. They didn't flinch, and that's something that's been big within their culture. They played tough and physical. I really liked the way the defense it started off and in the run game started to pick up really the culture and the identity of them in relationship to what we want to get done as a brand of football. Not perfect, lots of room for improvement there, but started off in the right way. Thought communication was really good. I think 3 takeaways is really a big thing to celebrate. That's a big deal empirically when you look at keys to victory and how to win a football game. Then we got to make sure we take care of it on the other end. You're 1 or 2 plays away from games like that, and you saw it all over the country, all over the weekend, where anybody, anywhere can make it happen. And I think that's the biggest thing that we've noted to our group as we grow is it's not about who or where, it's about what wins football games, and making sure we articulate that and that we get through the ignore the noise and get through actually how we can get better as a football program to win games like that down the stretch. Things to be made, corrections to be made. I think the penalty battle is a big thing we picked on too. We got to be a disciplined football group. To make sure we don't put ourselves behind the stakes. We're not there yet to overcome those type of things. So that penalty battle, the turnovers, we had some what we call drive killers and things that hold you back from successful drives. We make sure we highlight those and see opportunities missed, albeit protection or a audible or a progression on a big play where maybe we think we've got exactly what we want and we just don't execute in that regard. So we make sure that we get back to that and make sure the whole team sees that our 111th or our 105 our 105th. And my job is really, really contingent on everything we do as a player and as a coach to get everything done in the course of what only is 70 plays, an average in a game. There was a couple decisions there. I think the special teams goals were really good. They showed up, did some good things. There was a critical error on special teams on a return, and we should have touched back, but all learning things. I think that field position is a big thing we talk about a lot because we know that sticks out analytically for keys to victory for us. So we visit that a lot. It has to do with a lot on special teams. Other than that, I thought some standout performances. Goot did a great job. Cooey did a great job. Godfrey and Fuller on special teams. AJ did a nice job who you meet with later and on the defense, a guy who we've moved, similar to many guys we moved on defense, move around and find a spot. He did an excellent job as one of the guys that we saw. Cam Oliver, another guy who continues to find the ball. He's just a ball hawk. The football gods love that guy. He has since high school. So he's done a great job. At the end of the day, I think that the thing that we also look at is just there's a more engaged group, more engaged in each other. And I think that that's going to end up being really, really good in the long haul. You can see that in our culture. Our bodies are in great shape. We look different. We play different. We looked faster, stronger than we looked before. I think that seeing the guys stick together was awesome. And I think that, there was probably, as we look back, one of the things we're real ultra critical about as coaches is were there any surprises we saw on offense or defense or special teams that maybe we didn't prepare our guys for, because we're as in this as anybody else, starting with me. Lots of room for all of us as coaches to improve, me to improve. But I think collectively do not shy away from the fact that we got better.
Coach, week 2 is normally the most difficult week as far as going prepping because you don't know what adjustments or teams are going to make. How do you perceive that thought?
Well, I don't know. Week 2, there's 2 ways. There's a lot of things happening in week 2. Week 2 is also a great week for growth in a lot of ways, depending on what kind of environment and landscape you're going into. I think that there's can be great gains from week 1 to week 2 in growth. You see a team see what they did finally in a game with true preparation, see if they can correct some of that stuff. Now, you put that together with who you're playing and where you're playing and at the time or what it may be, and you got to make sure that doesn't get outside of what you need to get done. What I mean by that is we're going into on the road for the first time and really in our program in a really hostile environment with crowd, with a really good football team, with a well-coached football team, with a class that's been recruited for 4 or 5 years there. So that's going to be its challenge in itself. But then you got to still execute what wins and fix the things from the week before. So the challenge really is to make sure that you kind of bullet point those things out, make sure that they can regurgitate that stuff to you. What do we need to fix from last week, and then what can we expect going into this week? And I think that test is something they're excited for. I think more than anything, I've said it, and I'll say it till we're done here, is the fact that I think that our practice is the way that we're going to see how we grow. Our practices are built to give guys situational football and awareness and fundamentals that are going to give them a chance, and to get it deliberately, to get the deliberate intent in practice and ramp that thing up like it would be in a game is really the most critical piece to our program. So we'll continue to try to elevate the standard in practice to make sure on Saturday night in a hostile environment we can try to deal with as much as we can prior to getting there.
Heading into this week against ASU, what are some things you'd like to see your team build on?
Well, I think I mentioned some of them there, Tina. I think obviously taking care of the football, doing a good job on third down. I liked our Reds going scoring last week, 5 of 5, but we need to make a couple more touchdowns in there. Would be nice. Finish those drives out. I like that we took the ball away and we got points off. I think it's 15 points off turnovers. That was good. Just a couple more 7s in there would be nice. I think protection is going to be a big deal. That's something that we're growing with. We've got a chemistry up front that's really finally together for the first time with Coach Woods and his communication. In the short time he's been here, done a great job. Defensively, there's obviously some things with eyes and making sure our fits and run fits and communication continue to improve. I think we saw that happen, but we've got two really good running backs to face, a great quarterback, some elite skill players. So great challenge for us to continue to find ways to what wins. It won't change every week. That's the key. It doesn't winning football games doesn't change every week. That's the beauty of it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things that get guys tangled up and get you looking in different directions that are out in front of them. But finding a way to win a football game is still the same.
Who's going to start at quarterback?
Doug will start at quarterback. He did a fantastic job getting in the game, sparking. I said it when we go into it, but they're both probably going to play. Provided a great spark. Did really built off of a lot of things he did well in camp. Missing those 5 days in camp, I think, were the one thing that kind of set him back slowly. But I think he came back and came into that game and did a heck of a job. And I'm excited to see him get in it with a true week, going in as the guy for the first time, and excited to see him grow.
Do you plan to play Justin at all?
If we have to, but Doug's a starter.
What do you think of how Brumfield threw the ball? There were some drops, so was it the receivers? Was it him?
Yeah, that was.
Too much zip?
No, sure, we can't say that. You want to recruit guys who can utilize the football field and throw it all around. No, we have to catch the ball. There was too many. 7 drops are one of the drive killers that showed up for us, especially in critical moments in the game. We talked about it and owned it, and what we need to get done. That's one of the examples of things we can get better at. But I think those guys just being in that moment with Doug throwing that ball at that speed and that timing is critical. The timing together, that chemistry is something you work on, and in your first few games together, that's going to be something that's going to happen. And you got to make sure you turn it over and make sure you continue to elevate that, because those are hard to come back from, as we saw.
Jaden Daniels is one of the better quarterbacks in the country. Last week's quarterback can move around a little bit. Jay can move around. Does that help you going into the game, having a mobile quarterback who you just face, and then come back and have the scheme for Jay?
Yeah, no, Jaden's I under Jane for years, obviously at high school and recruiting him in his time. He's a fantastic quarterback. He can be a dual threat guy, smart, and he's been in that system. He's been with those guys. He's got some chemistry with those guys. He's been with Herm there for a while, which is really good. He's done a great job, man. I think that's kind of the what you're getting in college football now is guys who can move around. So we've got to be able to contain him, because he will make some plays with legs, but he can also spin it down the field. No different than the guy last week. Special guys who've been in their systems for a long time with chemistry outside. So we got a good test outside, good test with him.
Anything else?
Another big game for Chuck the other day. When you go back and look at the tape, what did he do well on the ground?
I think that the one thing that's hard at running back that internally is probably I should say not misunderstood, but hard to know, is that the running back and the scheme design, when you change schemes, there's a timing to it, there's a mesh to it, and I think that he's finally gotten used to being in the pistol and back in the dot. He hadn't had a bunch of dot runs before, and so his style does fit going downhill, as we saw. He's trusting the scheme. He trusts the line, as you could see. He had to get warmed up a couple times. He was picking his feet were down. He was kind of getting through it, and then as he got warmed up, he started picking them up and really leaning into it, which was good. So exciting to see him get comfortable and get him lathered up, and I think that's, you know, we all know what he's capable of doing. We're going to continue to feed him and use him effectively, you know. So it was good to see him get warmed up, and hopefully that continues to stay, that chemistry with the front and the run game and how it fits him continues to evolve.
And then just having a young quarterback, you know, with Doug, how much do you feel like it helps him having an experienced back that you can go to kind of get him into the game?
Yeah, I mean, when you can hand the ball off to a guy who you feel really confident in being successful and putting you in advantageous, you know, down in distances as a quarterback, that's always good to feel, you know, and not having to direct traffic a ton, maybe, you know, albeit if it was a brand new freshman or something like that, you know. So I think it's a good mix back there.
I felt like I just needed to go out there and do what my team needed me to do in the moment, you know. Coach Arroyo does a great job preparing us, everybody, not just the ones, but the twos, and just being ready to go when their name is called. So I felt like I was prepared and just ready to get the job done.
How do you feel about starting this week?
I feel like it's a great opportunity to go compete against these guys in Arizona and just show what we can really do.
AJ, you got your start last week, first start, tied for team leading tackles. How did it feel to get out there and make plays?
It felt great. You know, I felt like I was prepared. The coaching staff, Coach Hansen, they did a good job of getting us ready for the looks that we're going to expect. The D-line did a good job up front, so I felt like I was prepared and get the season going on a good start.
How are you guys getting ready for ASU and stopping that run game?
Yeah, like you said, like you mentioned, the run game, especially they got two big backs who run hard. The quarterback's good as well. The good thing about college football is every game is winnable. You saw that last weekend, a bunch of upsets. So we go into every game thinking that we have a chance and believing that we do have a chance.
Well, I feel like last week we just saw the very tip of the iceberg. Tell us how the defense is working hard this week.
Yeah, well, the coaches always tell us that the biggest growth comes between week 1 and week 2. So the iceberg, like you mentioned, is we're just beginning to show what we're capable of. Looking to be a big year for the defense, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
You and Jacoby, talk to me about that leadership and that relationship you guys have.
Yeah, me and Jacoby, we got really close over this offseason. Couldn't really find one without seeing the other, doing everything together. Just even we're roommates in the hotel, watching film all night, just up late, just studying, getting after it. We can go eat together. So just building that bond and that trust on and off the field as well.
Do you feel like the mentality on defense is completely different this year?
Yeah, I think guys came to play this year, and I think, you know, we're more comfortable with the playbook. Everyone knows what they're doing, their job. So I think we're ready for the season, yeah.
Doug, it seemed like the energy picked up and the vibe picked up when you came on the field. Like the offense, really the team got a little more kept to themselves. What do you contribute that to?
I just feel like it's the energy, not only from me touching the field, but just the team being ready to go out there and just prove something to everybody that's watching. You know, prove that we're not just some team in the Mountain West that loses every game, that we're actually out here working and we're trying to get something done. So I feel like once a change was made, that everybody was ready to step up and make plays.
How's the game changed for you from last year when you came in and getting spot duty or whatnot to now? Has it slowed down at all?
The game has slowed down a lot, actually. It's with Coach Thomas and Coach Arroyo teaching us how to recognize coverages and see what we need to see to make certain plays, it definitely slows the game down and makes it a lot easier out there.
Doug, I'm kind of interested to know the conversation after Thursday. Did Coach sit you guys down, and how did he tell you that you're starting?
He didn't tell us. We just we talked about the game and talked about how we need to get back into the lab the next day, talk things over, watch film, and just get back ready to work.
So when did you find out you were starting? Just right now?
Just now.
With that in mind, you know, knowing that you came off the bench last week, how are you going to approach this week and prepare, knowing that you're the starting quarterback? Does this change your preparation?
No, not at all. I feel like I prepare as a starter if I'm not starting. If it really doesn't matter. I feel like we all prepare the same because you never know what's going to happen. You're one play away from being put in a game and have to lead your team to a victory. So we all prepare the same.
AJ, the sideline, you've been here a while. In the sidelines in the past, you've seen guys get down by the finger pointing. Last week, there wasn't a lot of that.
Yeah.
Talk about the culture change that you've been there.
Yeah, I think Coach Arroyo and his entire staff have been doing a great job of improving our culture, making a winning culture, and that comes along with what you meant with the sideline. People are together. We're more of a team, I would say. People are working together. There's less finger pointing. It's just more about what can we do in this moment to try to get this win.
Telling you, I know you played a little bit last year, but this is really your first time in a close game, just playing, drive after drive, trying to get the win. What, if anything, did you learn about yourself going through that experience?
Honestly, I just, during the whole experience, I just tried to think of it as just like one of our practices. We work on situations like that every day at practice, just 2-minute drills, 4-minute drills, critical situations. So I kind of, throughout that whole game, I just try to keep that in my mind. It's just a practice out here. It's just different jerseys and we're live. That's it. So it kind of helped me stay calm during the situation for being my first time out there, really.